What's going on, y'all? Welcome to Hiphopcitizen Friday Night Live.
Hiphopcitizen live stream dialect. My bad, brother. I'm so excited.
You hyped today. I'm your co-host, Dialect 718, along with Don Juan the Mac, David Simonism. Waiting for our other co-host, Architect 7, to check in. You know, Diva Views is on she's off today. So we're gonna have to deal with the fellas today.
Oh yeah. Testosterone Friday.
What's going on, Mr. Simonism?
Man, fuck this shit.
Your shit stinks.
Well, everything good, Daddy. Everything good.
Yeah, we got a great show lineup for y'all today. We got another artist checking in today, man. Don Juan, let us know who we got checking in about 15 minutes.
Yeah, in about 15 minutes, man. We're gonna check out Professor Lyrical, also known as ProfLyrical. He's actually a real professor, and he got a pretty a dope ballad, man, that I think that everyone's going to appreciate. All of our fans out there, so y'all gonna want to check this one out. ProfLyrical coming up next.
Can't wait for that. But since we always open up our show with album anniversaries and birthdays, album anniversaries and hip hop birthdays, I'm gonna jump right into album anniversaries first.
There we go.
Okay, let me just get that lined up. First album we got celebrating an anniversary this week, Only Built for Cuban Links by Raekwon the Chef featuring Ghostface. Celebrating 25 years. What do you guys remember of this album right here?
Yo, this was the joint right here. This is the classic right here. This is the one they were just talking about just the other day when I think we had it featured here on the page, right? With Raekwon and Brenda, right? They were talking about the classic.
Yeah, actually, that was like because the anniversary was August 1st. So Raekwon did a thing the Friday before where he interviewed Steve Rifkin, who else? The RZA, Ghostface Killer, a couple of other fans like Fat Joe and Conway the Machine. Yeah, man. So that was a pretty dope interview. And we're gonna jump into this later on in the show and talk more in detail about this album.
Yeah.
Next album celebrating anniversaries, Big L's second LP, and I believe his last solo one, Big L, The Big Picture. R.I.P. to Big L.
To me, Dialect, being from the South, coming out of the DC area, I was late to Big L, you know what I'm saying? And boy, man, that's what I call a slow burner, you know what I'm saying? That dude left the legacy behind way ahead of his time.
Yeah, what you remember about Big L, Mr. Simonism?
Big L was a unique artist, fantastic voice, incredible ghetto lyrics. Unfortunate, untimely death.
Yeah.
What is those guys' names? Stretch Armstrong and Bobito. Jay-Z bit his lyrics.
Allegedly
my ass. Everybody knows it. And that's pretty much it. He was friends with Cameron and Mace.
Yeah, Herb McGruff, Harlem MCs.
That's right.
Yeah, so yeah, I like this album. This was a dope album. But Big L, man, to me, one of the best MCs to come out of New York City, man. I don't do the top 10 thing, but definitely one of the best MCs to come out of NYC. R.I.P. to Big L.
How do we define that, by the way, Dialect? How do we define the best MCs? If the guy's only been around for, say, 2 albums, is that what happens? You become a martyr in hip-hop and you become, that's it?
I don't really do the top 10s anymore because, like I said, it always changes. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you may listen to somebody else and remember how dope they are.
Yeah.
And they will kind of fall back into your top 10. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, it varies for me, but definitely he's one of the best to come out of NYC. The first song I heard from Big L was a joint called The Devil's Son, where he stayed on topic for the entire song. And the wordplay was crazy, the metaphors, the punchlines. And, he came out as a student of Lord Finesse, and he ran with the DITC crew. But yeah, like I said, one of the best to come out of NYC, fathered a lot of styles in hip-hop. So next single we have celebrating the anniversary is It Takes Two by Rob Bass and DJ Easy Rock. Definitely a certified hip-hop classic, this single right here.
I was going to say dialect. I was just going to add probably one of the best one-hit wonders in hip hop.
I think so, man. To me, a hard party jam, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, when this song comes on, everybody knows the lyrics.
That's right. Well, it was MTV Raps, right? It was a theme song for MTV Raps, I believe, right?
I believe so.
Absolutely. Where is Rob Bass and Easy Rock these days?
Matter of fact, Rob Bass was on that video I shared today, man, with DJ Cassidy when everybody was doing that the sing-along thing with him.
Yeah.
Rob Bass was actually the last MC to rap on that.
Aha. Shout out to Vegas is in the house. Eleanor, we see you.
Yeah.
Jeff, we see you.
Next album celebrating anniversary, Snoop Dogg on his third LP and the first LP that he did with No Limit Records. The game is to be sold, not be told.
Absolutely. Where is Rob Bass and Easy Rock these days?
Matter of fact, Rob Bass was on that video. Yeah, Dave Simon, what you remember about this album right here? Snoop Dogg's third album.
It was interesting. It was a different take on both what Death Row was offering with Snoop and what Master P was offering prior to Snoop. It's to be honest with you, it didn't blow up my skirt. It was it was a passing piece of material. It didn't last long, in my opinion. And but Snoop gave a valiant effort, and No Limit. They needed that what you would call a genuine look, because Master P was and the No Limit family was still considered independent and underground acts. Even though they were making money, they weren't viewed as majors, as considered like a Death Row, a Bad Boy, a Rockefeller even at this time. So this what Snoop Dogg gave them credibility, gave No Limit Records credibility, and that's what I remember of this.
Correct, and I think it was Snoop Dogg mentioned this a couple weeks ago, and he said Master P saved his life. I think he was one of the only artists or labels that was able to buy him out of Death Row Records.
I was going to say that's.
So this was like, this was the first of three, and I think the last album he did with Death Row was called The Last Meal, because Snoop Dogg called it that because he said it was the last time that any label was going to eat off of him, and I think he was pretty much his own boss after that. But I do remember him having some dope albums with Master P, and I think this was the biggest signing that No Limit had. Prior to Snoop Dogg, everybody else was pretty much local talent.
And
from the New Orleans area.
To me, this is the thing that to me that says that No Limit is official. They got Snoop. How big you get now?
I mean, I still find like the album covers were mad over the top though. I want to find out who was the one designing these album covers for No Limit though.
That was dope, man. That shit was innovative. You know what I'm saying?
It was a huge act. And I don't want to belittle what Mystical represented as the star of No Limit prior to Snoop Dogg joining the crew.
Correct, but I think No Limit made Mystical a star. Snoop Dogg, on the other hand, was already a star.
This is true.
When he signed, remember, No Limit had that. I mean, Mystical had songs, coming out that Boot Camp Click. One of those fly-by-night videos that used to come on Rap City that made you change the channel. But then when he got with No Limit, it kind of legitimized him, I think.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Snoop Dogg was already a legitimate artist, though, prior to coming to No Limit.
Yeah. Snoop Dogg had credibility.
Correct. So next album we have, y'all probably don't know this, is a group out of Minnesota. Recently released their first album in 1997, Atmosphere, Overcast. And lastly,
you just ran through that one like that.
Yeah, because I figured you guys probably don't know much about them.
Hey man, so you got 50,000 people watching you, and I don't know. What about the 50,000 people in the chat box?
Yeah, like I don't know much about the group, man. It's the two members of the group was Slug, who was the MC, and Ant. And one of the songs they had on this joint, man, was called Scapegoat, which was pretty dope. Yeah, Juan, I think you got to mute your mic. Yeah, so okay. Yeah, so one of the biggest joints they had on this for me was a joint called Scapegoat. Pretty dope song. And celebrating 22 years of being 22 years was the debut of Yo MTV Raps. Matter of fact, 32 or 33 years ago, MTV debuted Yo MTV Raps. And this show was very big for hip hop. I know you guys all remember this show, but Dave will probably remember the first hip hop show we knew was Video Music Box.
Yeah, give or take.
New York.
Tracks was still the first one that played rap videos to me.
Correct, but Yo MTV Raps is a daily show, and the only other daily show that we knew about was Video Music Box, which came out in New York.
Well, Video Music Box wasn't a daily show when it started. It only
box everywhere though, right? Wait, you talking about box or Video Music Box? Is that different?
Yeah, Video Music Box is different. That was like if you had an old school TV, you had to go to the U on the dial, then go to 31. It was one of those channels.
First, it started on Monday night, then it ended up on Wednesday night, and then it started to when Crazy Sam joined, and I think Tuffy, the light skinned heavy set guy.
Yeah.
What was his name? Tuffy something.
Yeah, Ray DeJean and all these other guys.
That's when they became a daily program, Monday through Friday.
Yeah, and Chuck Chill Out. They had Tasty Tuesdays. Yeah, I think it was a daily show going back to like 87. I remember watching it every day.
Well, I remember when it first came on, it only came on Monday nights.
Yeah, but going back to this show, man, when it first started, I don't know if you noticed, Ed Lover and Dr. Dre, they weren't getting paid much to do this show.
And Yo MTV Raps was also a one day event, 1 week, one time a week show.
Correct. With Fat Five Freddy.
Yeah, I think Fat Five Freddy. I didn't know it started with Ed Lover and Dr. Dre. I thought it started with Fat Five Freddy.
On Friday nights.
I don't know. Friday nights. Yo MTV Raps is all I remember. I don't know what days it was on.
Yeah, it was on Friday nights. Then who took it to the everyday thing? I think it was
Ed Lover and Dr. Dre.
They were on weekly?
Yep, they were on weekly. I believe like at 4:30. I think it came on around the same time as Video Music Box.
Okay. Because when Storm Buckwild got involved, it was called Beat Suite.
Correct.
And
yeah, I think they went off air like in what, 95 or 94? You on TV Raps?
Okay.
Yeah, then another album celebrating anniversary. We've got Jadakiss debut album, Kiss the Game Goodbye, came out in 2001. Lastly, we got UGK released their, I think this was their fifth album, Underground Kings, released in 2007. And I think this was the last album that Pimp C recorded with the group.
Okay. Rest in peace, Pimp C.
Rest in peace, Pimp C.
Yeah, real Texas legends again.
Yeah, now let's jump into hip hop birthdays. Still waiting on ProfLyrical to call in. So we got some real veterans here celebrating birthdays. So let me just jump right into that.
Okay. People are remembering
ProfLyrical in the green room. All right, so let's go through the birthdays, man. Celebrating a birthday this week. First artist, Chuck D, Legendary Crew.
August 1st.
Yeah, Public Enemy. And also who has a birthday on August 1st, born the same year as Chuck D, Professor Griff. August 1st. What's that?
The twins, like Danny DeVito and
Yeah.
Funny, like I met a guy who was born the exact same day and the exact same year as me. What's that?
Would you give him a job?
It depends, what the work is.
Okay, that's what happened here.
Next,
cool.
Last week was an album, his debut album, celebrating the anniversary. This week is his birthday. And
how old is Coolio, by the way? Coolio, is he 60 yet?
He's up there in his 50s.
Okay.
Let's give Coolio a big up for innovative thinking with that hat.
Very creative.
Yes, it was.
And
Rampage, the last Boy Scout.
Rampage, the last Boy Scout, celebrates a birthday this week. DJ Spinderella.
Is that how she look now?
Pretty much. Still looks the same.
Wow.
And who knows who this is right here?
That's 21 Savage before he got the tattoos.
Nah, man, come on.
Special Ed.
Nah, man, this is the late DJ Sub Rock from the group KMD. Also, the younger brother of MF Doom.
I think Architect is teasing us, but go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know if you remember that group KMD back in the day. They had that the joint Peach Fuzz.
I know the song, but again, my skirt remained down.
And he also had that legendary clip in the Gas Face video when MC Surge turns around. He said, "Sub Rock, get at you with the clippers." So this was the dude that was cutting, MC Surge's hair, giving him those designs back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah, he passed away in 1991, and at the time, MF Doom went by the name of Zed Love X. And after the passing of his brother, he took on the persona of MF Doom. So, R.I.P. to Sub Rock.
What was the cause of death?
I think he got hit by a car on the LIE, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
Yeah, we have celebrating a birthday, C. Ray's Walls.
If you say so.
Also, who would have celebrated a birthday this week is the late Professor X of X Clan.
Oh, he's late. I didn't know he was late.
Me neither.
He passed away.
What else?
I'll be right back, man. I'm having audio issues.
No problem. We can hear you, man.
I can hear you. Yeah, you sound good.
You can hear my mic?
Yes.
No, I don't think it's your mic though. Yeah, it sounds like you're on air. Go ahead and get it checked out, Architect. I think you're on air.
I'm out.
Yeah, but I didn't know that the professor. I didn't know. He was. We missed him, so I didn't know he
passed away. Also celebrating a birthday this week is Yo-Yo.
Yo-Yo's still fine though.
First lady of West Coast hip hop.
I saw her on this Fox Soul show called the Top 10, Top 5 with the host Miss Angela Yee, and yes, Yo-Yo was looking delicious then.
Absolutely.
And how old is she?
Woo, probably like in the 40s.
No way.
Yes, sir.
I'm in my 40s, bro. What are you saying to me? Yo-Yo was making records when I was still in elementary school. Come on, kid. Stop playing with me, man.
You also celebrating a birthday this week. We got Bobby Schmurda, Brooklyn's own.
Oh, yes. Soon to be home.
Should be coming home soon. Okay, let me give some hip-hop trivia. Who's this right here?
Big Bang Hank, ain't it?
Hey, it's Big Hank from the Sugar Hill gang.
Yeah, also, passed away, but was one of the 3 members of the legendary group Sugar Hill Gang that released Rapper's Delight.
He don't look 6'3" and a ton of fun.
Fun fact. That's because he didn't write those lyrics. 6'3" and a ton of fun was probably Grandmaster Caz, who actually wrote those lyrics for Big Bang Hank back in the day.
He does look like a ton of fun. Let me take that back.
Yeah,
Big Bang Hank.
Rest in peace. Oh, MTA.
Also, R.I.P. to MTA would have celebrated a birthday this week of the legendary group Beastie Boys.
That's right.
Happy birthday this week for Funkmaster Flex.
Word up.
Hip hop's, according to him, #1 DJ.
According to him, according to the consensus, my friend.
That's
#1 DJ. Self-proclaimed.
Well, listen. Anybody that want a versus battle with Funkmaster Flex, holla at him. I'm sure he'll grant you your wishes.
Yeah, he would. He, MC that kind of, overdoes the bomb thing when he's on the radio.
Not as of late. It barely uses it now.
Yeah.
He has race car track sound effect now.
I remember partying in New York and Harlem at the Latin Quarters, man, and I would see Flex there, man. With bodyguards all around the DJ booth.
Yeah, at the tunnel, he used to push through with nothing but like 2 or 3 humongous guys.
Yeah, they're deep.
Yeah, let me try to get through these. Next person celebrating a birthday, Travie McCoy.
Hey, who we used to beat, right?
Gym Class Heroes.
He used to date Katy Perry. That's Katy Perry's ex.
Yeah. She was actually in the video, Cupid's, what was it called?
Gutierrez.
I forgot the name of the song, but it was Cupid something that was the video, and Katy Perry was the last chick in the video.
That's right.
Shout out to Travie McCoy.
Well, she really did step her game up.
Hey, man, Gym Class Hero had some hits, man.
Yeah, they not Orlando Bloom. Shout out to Orlando Bloom.
They were the pop version of the Roots. Shout out to Fat Man Scoop, celebrates a birthday this week.
Fat Man Scoop.
And believe it or not, this dude right here is a sportscaster, but he started out as a rapper.
You started as a rapper, really?
Yeah, yeah, he did. He had a song back in the day. I forgot the name of the group. I was trying to look it up, but I didn't have time. The name of the joint was Rumble, Young Man Rumble.
Oh man, you can't.
You're fucking kidding me.
Yeah, Max Kellerman was a rapper.
Not having the real all the 100% of the facts, my bro.
Back in the early 80s, he was a rapper.
Wow.
We got to do every day.
We got to dig some of that up. We got to get some of that.
You get a chance, you got to get that song.
Celebrating a birthday, Freeway.
Oh my God.
Philadelphia Freeway.
Yeah, man. I like Freeway, man. That's one of, to me, that's an underrated artist.
Rockefeller artist.
Say a prayer for Freeway.
Yeah, I was about to say he's dealing with a little bit of health issues, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Long time though, sounds like, if it's the same health issues.
Yes.
And I think lastly, right here, we have this chick celebrating a birthday. The first lady of 3-6 Mafia, Gangsta Boo.
Yeah, I don't know.
Y'all know Gangsta Boo. Come on, man. Stop playing, man. Y'all know y'all bump running by 3-6 Mafia when y'all working out, man. Get you hyped.
They've been real talking, a lot of fans of 3-6 Mafia, so I know they know who she is.
Yeah, she represents. I ain't mad at her.
Okay, so we have our guests in the green room waiting patiently. Let me bring them on here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome ProfLyrical.
Yo, it's good, y'all.
What's going on?
What's going on, man?
Thanks for having me.
Yo,
and man, I wasn't waiting. I was enjoying myself. I was chilling. There's a difference. It was good stuff.
Yeah. Welcome to the Hiphopcitizen live stream, ProfLyrical. Let's get the vernacular straight. Is it pro or is it professor? What's the correct vernacular for ProfLyrical?
You know what it is, man? I went by Lyrical for the longest time, and well before the internet search era. And it kind of made it a little tough to find my stuff, right? Once Google really kicked in. And so when I started teaching college, professor was just, what everybody called me anyway. So I just kind of put the two together to kind of bring them there. And then you know how Facebook is with your names. So Facebook, for some reason, they think pro sounds like an actual first name, but not professor, So they let that slide on the Facebook. And since then, people just say pro. It's kind of easier. So I roll with it. It goes with the terrain. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah.
Either way, man.
So as a professor, so I mean, and again, let's get this correct. I mean, we talk about Professor Griff early on.
Yeah.
Griff, you're a real tenured professor. Is that accurate to say? I mean,
I'm tenure track. I'm not actually tenured, but yeah. I'm an associate professor of mathematics. Yeah.
And do you have to publish? If is rapping part of your publishing prerequisite?
When I was at Northeastern, I got my doctorate at Northeastern, and I was already teaching there before I had it, which is, kind of rare, but, I kind of got in because of what I do, and I had a master's in math at the time. And they had this really cool first year program I got to teach in. And, it was kind of conditional when they hired me. It was a great condition. They were like, hey, we don't usually take a chance on people without a doctorate, but, if you'll get one while you're here, we'd love to have you aboard, kind of thing. And I was like, word. And so I got my, I was an assistant professor there, but I was what was called an assistant teaching professor, where your main responsibilities were to teach more so than publish research. But when I did, my dissertation was increasing STEM degree attainment for underrepresented populations. So basically getting more underrepresented, Black and brown people into STEM, which are sorely lacking from STEM, compared to white counterparts and so forth, and Asian, right, that are overpopulated in STEM. So, and basically just using hip hop culture to try to be like a segue and an entryway to get people, because STEM can be boring if it's not presented right. It can seem like real way out there nerd stuff, which it is in a good way. We just try to spin it in a good way. And, hip hop with comic book culture, it's all kind of closely connected, you know what I mean? And so now that sort of nerd culture has become a little bit more mainstream, or blurred culture, Black nerd culture, right, is now a thing. It kind of, makes its way into academia because more and more of us are coming of age. So yeah, part of what I do is just use hip hop, and part of writing, researching, performing, MC, and all that stuff finds its way into my stuff. Mine's a little different than typical, but yeah, that's my thing.
So what footnotes did you use for your dissertation?
The shirt that I'm wearing right now, right, is Hip Hop Ed. And my man Chris Emden, who's an associate professor at Columbia, started this joint, Hip Hop Ed. And actually, he was one of the only people I found. When I was searching, when I started out, my doctorate was in 2012, and I was looking, I was typing into the searches like hip hop, education, science, math, and he was the only one that had anything that really popped up at the time. Now there's a flood of people that are in there, but Gloria Ladson-Billings, she's like critical race theory. So that was kind of the intersection of my dissertation, like critical race theory with hip hop, with, science and STEM. So it was a little bit of everything. There's a lot of traditional science and STEM and math education. And I teach at HBCU now. I'm at the University of District of Columbia in DC. I'm also the director of faculty development, primarily for students in our 2-year program. We have like a community college built into the university. So I try to help other faculty, use some creative things in their teaching as well. So I have a little less responsibility in teaching. Like I basically only teach one class a semester. The rest of what I do is kind of like, trying to help inform best practices in the classroom that would make the teaching more engaging kind of stuff. So
when you are teaching during this pandemic, it's virtual as well.
Yeah. Like I was grading calculus finals today. Literally. Yeah, it's virtual. Yep. Every school's different right now, man. It's crazy because some people think the best thing is asynchronous and other people think synchronous, right? So the difference of whether or not you actually have to meet with your teacher synchronous at the exact same time as your course, that's a big debate. Like what is best, and it's obviously harder on the students to meet at an exact time when people got kids and crazy, responsibilities right now with COVID. So school's up in the air, man. You got some schools that are still teaching on ground too. So it's a little bit of everything.
So,
oh, please.
No, go ahead, Dave. I'm sorry. I yield to you, sir.
Well, then I will take that time and use it productively. I need to get you on record here, ProfLyrical.
Yeah.
Do you think that the institution should remain or should continue to charge as much as they were charging pre?
Hell no.
Pandemic?
Hell no. Nah, hell no. No, of course not. It's a different product, but some schools, I will say this, some schools are better equipped teaching online and it wasn't a big transition, right? Like they were already doing a lot. Like when I was at Northeastern, like we had an amazing, Northeastern is like a top 40 school in the country, right? And when I was a kid, it was kind of like a safety school. It was like outside of the top 100 or whatever, still a good school, but like it became incredible. So these schools that are like really up on it and have the good infrastructure to teach online, it's no big thing for them. But for a school that has maybe older infrastructure or doesn't have the paper like that to have the kind of bandwidth that's required and the training of all the faculty, it's an inferior product until you get all the faculty on board, you iron out all the kinks, and then are you going to charge for parking? Are you going to charge fees the same way that you would? Are you going to charge people to use the gym? So those things at a minimum should get dropped out. And that's a big difference for people right now. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, Professor, what came first? Were you a rapper first, or were you a professor who decided to rap?
Man, I've been a rapper since I was like old enough to remember. So I've been MCing since, I came up on Big Daddy Kane and Rakim and Chuck D and, all that kind of stuff. So, 88 was like a big year for me kind of stuff. So yeah, no, but I'll say this, because of the kind of stuff that was out there, people like Chuck D or whatever, and people that would use lyrics, like he's called the Black CNN and stuff, people that would inform in their lyrics were always like the people that I listened to the most, KRS-One and that kind of stuff. So, and it did shows with all them people coming up too, and still I was speaking to Chuck recently via social media. So people like that grow up there like your idols, and then they are somewhat close to you on a somewhat personal level, like through media, whatever. It's crazy for a kid like me now, man. So yeah, that just led to me wanting to do something that take hip hop and find a way to make it as important to me as it was as a kid for other people. especially in like PWI, predominantly white institutions, that really kind of shun hip hop and don't use it, you know, and they kind of look at it like tisk. That's not academic, you know. It's just like, are you crazy? Like, they don't really sometimes understand the power, the global phenomenon that hip hop is. You know, they think it's in some cases just kind of like non-academic, you know. So which is crazy, because it's one of the biggest things that can glue people in their seats. Because let's face it, it's kind of everybody's culture right now, especially, you know, young people that are in college. So to not use it is kind of like a teaching, you know, flaw, really. At least tangentially use it. You don't have to be like breakdancing in your classroom or anything like that necessarily, but, you know, for people that can incorporate it, whether it's lingo or the culture, or just the same way you would teach an engineering, a boring, typical engineering problem that would be like, you know, rocks and levers or whatever, you know, you can use the same kind of mathematics and science you have to, just spicing it up with stuff that's relevant to the culture. It's really just relevant cultural pedagogy. That's all it really is. So
how does it come across to the students?
It depends, man. I think it's just like if you said, you know, we're going to talk about sports today. You might love sport. I love, you know, I was watching the Celtics before we came in here, but you make the mistake of assuming that everybody loves it. Well, then that's a problem, right? It just has to be something that you augment. Like, I'm not rapping 24/7. You know, people ask me all the time, they'll be like, yo, are you rapping in your classes? I'm not rapping in my classes. I'm from hip hop culture, and it comes across in the classroom, right? So it's not like they know. They'll be like, yo, spit a 16 or whatever. But I always talk like it's like Jaws. Like, once you see the shark, you get diminishing marginal returns. It's not as cool anymore, you know? So after like a couple of weeks go by, students don't think about that anymore, you know? And it's not, I mean, they do, but it's like after class, in between class. And I do a lot of like mentoring with students that see them in the halls. My office looks like a hip hop, you know, Palladium kind of thing. So it's like a fly trap that gets people in, and they want to build with you, you know, because you're talking to them about important life stuff. Like, yo, how did you do this? Whether it's hip hop stuff or whether it's academic, because academic is like a crazy secret. And if you don't know, you don't know, you know. And I'm not from an academic family. I didn't have people that were like, you know, like, oh, this is the way that you know, go through a traditional college thing. I kind of had to figure it out, and I did not have it figured out when I started. You know, I went into school because I was good at math. I had records out, you know, my man Fee and I were in Excalibur. We had vinyl records, and we're trying to promote them our freshman, sophomore, junior year, doing rap battles and all this stuff. And I'm trying to get through this rigorous kind of science, you know, math, business curriculums. It was tricky, you know, and I didn't know what I was doing, you know, and I thought just because I was good at math, I'd be able to just kind of show up for the test kind of thing. And I was rudely awakened after my freshman year, you know. I had thoughts that it was going to be a skip in the park kind of stuff, because like I was the cool rapper, you know what I mean? Or at least I thought I was the cool rapper. I was the dumb rapper is what I found out real quickly, you know. So, but I was able to help like a lot of my people's, like help them with math and stuff like that. And when I was real little, I went to lower public schools, and I moved, you know, as a young kid, I got to move to the suburbs. And I went from a city school to a suburban school, graduated from a suburban high school where math and science were really cool. And that's all we're really trying to do, is just make science and math cool, because if you're not exposed to it, we're going to keep proliferating the myth that, you know, only like white or Asian people are you know, or whatever it is, Middle Eastern people, you know, Asian cultures, pick your choice, whatever the sort of myth is, that those are the people that have some kind of special math gene, which is completely BS. It's like saying people have a special MCing gene, you know. Like I was awful at MCing, you know, when I started, as was everybody, you know. And so it just keeps progressing with practice, you know. So it's just, yo, look how dope. Let me show you about nanotechnology, or show you about quantum mechanics, or show you about theoretical physics, or show you about, you know, how cool math can be without saying it in a boring way. That's really all it is. And then people gravitate to it. And then before you know it, you got people. I got some of my students that have way surpassed me in terms of like what they're doing with their math and science backgrounds, and that's amazing, you know.
Yeah. Go ahead, Dave.
I apologize again, Don.
No problem.
So what would you say is the majority of your students taking your course? Are they African Americans?
Well, I'm at HBCU. It's predominantly Black students. Yeah. So, but before I've only been out here for a couple of years, you know. So this is starting my third year out here in the DC area. Like, I moved from Boston. A lot of people still don't know that. A lot of people think I'm in Boston. My wife is from Virginia. My wife is African American. She's Black. She's from Virginia, but she went to a suburban, mostly white school, and so she moved to Boston. She was up there for music. She's a singer. She's an amazing singer, like world class kind of singer. She went to Berkeley, and we met through obviously through music. And so she wanted to come back down this way and leave Boston. So when I was in Boston, I was at Northeastern. Here's the issue, right? Northeastern is like predominantly white. The only diversity that it has is international diversity, and it's able to call itself a very diverse school. In reality, it's not. And so I was teaching in a first-year program that kind of reached into the community in the backyard, that tried to actually bring Black and brown people in. I mean, its mission it didn't say Black and brown people, but effectively that's what it was. It was people in Roxbury who couldn't get in the front door, who kind of gave this sort of like, okay, here's this program, we'll take you in a cohort model. You'll be with all the same kind of students, that got in through this program. You take classes together, and then we'll gradually intersperse you into the regular community. So you might have had a kid with a 2.8. At Northeastern, the average income in GPA is like a 4.1. You know what I mean? And so even though a kid might be reasonably strong, at Northeastern, a lot of those cats would fail out. And especially when it's not culturally relevant, you kind of feel like, what that feels like. It's like, okay, this school isn't for me. So when I moved out to here, coming to an HBCU, it was kind of a shock for me too, because I went from this predominantly white institution that only had pockets of diversity. And then you get to a school where there's only pockets of non-diversity. You know what I mean? So it's like, this like in UDC, I don't know what the percentage is for white students, but it's extremely low, so.
I was going to ask you, ProfLyrical, you must have been one of those kids that could rap, but then secretly you must have aced your SAT. Did you have like a high SAT score?
What's funny is again, when I first took my first SAT, I probably had I think I took a PSAT, and it was probably at like an 1190, right? Which is not like earth shattering, but it's certainly good, What do you mean? My final SAT, it went up a lot from there. But again, because I got myself into a class by that time to figure it out. But I wasn't out of the park or anything. When I went to the first teaching job I did, man, I was renting cars, driving back and forth to go to New York City with my man Fee. We were recording with Steve from Rock Block, and we were there while Rockefeller was in the making. We recorded in the same room with Jay-Z, watch him make Reasonable Doubt, go to D&D Studios with them. Peace to my man Ski, by the way. And so I went through that renting cars just so I could have a hustle to get to New York, right? And then, but in the back of my mind, I knew that I could teach. I knew that I didn't want to tell anybody, but I knew because I'd almost be clowned for it, right? Because I didn't have any teaching credentials or anything, but I did get my bachelor's in business. I scraped through and got my bachelor's in marketing and economics. And because of it, if you just have a degree, I mean, that was like separating you from the pack right there. And so in my city, I was able to open an alternative program at the high school for kids who didn't have the benefit and the privilege that I did to move one town over, because my parents had the foresight, or my mom in particularly was like, yo, we're going to get you over here to this school, away from some of your knucklehead friends kind of stuff. We'll move you into this better, thing. Who has that benefit, right? And so if it wasn't for that wouldn't have been able to happen for me. And so, when I think about in terms of even getting a chance to do that at the college level, just getting that basic degree was earth shattering for me, and then to get a chance to go back and get a master's. The only reason I was able to go get a master's is because Lowell High School would start paying, it wasn't much, but they'd pay basically enough to take a class per year. And so that's what I did. I started doing one class per year on that hustle. And after I made the switch from the rent-a-car thing, because I realized I was renting cars, but I had no time. I had no life. I became a manager renting the cars, in fact. And then people go to do hip hop shows and they'd be like, yo, let's go check out Lyrical. He'll get us a whip. And meanwhile, we got a record out in Boston that was a hit. It was called Butter Messenger. This was in the late 90s, 98. It was on every single radio station there was for college radio plus commercial. And that was unheard of in Boston at that time. And the record sounded a lot like Camp Low. It sounded a lot like Ski. It sounded a lot like Jay-Z, right? But they hadn't hit in Boston yet. Boston was a little behind the time. Think about it too. The internet hadn't popped off like that. So when we dropped our stuff, people are like, who is that? You know what I mean? And so, but I wasn't able to fully capitalize on it because we didn't even have the money to be able to like go chase shows and stuff like that. I was working full time. My man was a car prep working in my office, you know, at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, like cleaning cars. Like we get that job so that we could work together, listen to tracks in the whip, take the whips down on the weekend. But I was working too many hours and I could never get this education thing that I knew I could potentially do and reach the kids in my own city who didn't have the benefit to go to a town over, you know. So that's kind of how I got in, and that's how I do what I did. Little by little, you know, I just built up the accolades on the teaching side. So yeah, the thing I was going to say about the SAT is one of my first jobs to see if I could really do it. I went to one of these learning centers and I showed up and I got a perfect score on the SAT.
I knew it.
Many years removed from when I was in high school, but yeah. And so they were like, yeah, you're hired. And because of that, I didn't have anything on my. I don't even know if I would have got the job at Low High on just some hip hop credit because all I had was a bachelor's, and typically you needed a master's. I had no math experience, and so I went to this learning center and I started being their math tutor part-time in the summer. And that led into me be able to beat out some people in the interview and get lucky enough to get that first job in my home city. So,
Professor, do you think having the math knowledge, the math aptitude, does that help you lyrically?
Absolutely, yeah, without a doubt. Yeah, I'd explain it like this, right? Like, when you want to be good at math, right, or you want to write a dope 16 and really, really nail it, right? Like, and shout out to all the MCs. I know there's a bunch of MCs. Some of my people are out there listening. I saw my man OG Verbs and my man Jay Cruz. These are real dope MCs. From the New England area, right? And so a lot of us have gotten closer online. What I want to say is people that put in the hard work to write a dope verse, it's very similar to the work. Like I would lock myself in my basement and go in there for literally 9 hours at a time to knock out like 2 math problems. I mean, like intense, like calculus kind of based math, right? And you know, higher level math that I would sit there and I'd have the same thoughts everybody would. I'd be like, man, what did I get myself into? Like, yeah, I'm pretty good with numbers, right? But I'm not this good, you know? And so, but then you put in the work and what you find out is like you break through this wall, you get through this wall and then you build up this confidence. You go after hours and hours and hours of dedication of sitting there, it hits you and you go, oh, it doesn't just come to you like in a flash when you work at it for 5 minutes, just like MCing. Like the way that I write now, I write real fast now. Like I could, quite honestly, I could write a 16 right now that would sound like I took like what used to take me a month and I could give it to you in 5 minutes and it would sound really dope, you know, because I freestyle a lot, I write a lot. After a while, you know what you're doing, right? And so now the speed at which I write, people would just think, oh, you got some gift. No, I don't have a gift. I'm obsessed. I've been obsessed since I was a little kid with writing poetry. I got a job just so that I could literally at a funeral home, right? I got a job answering phones at a funeral home, which I didn't know that when I went there. I thought it was just going to be like they made it sound like the greatest job ever. They're like, hey, answer phone calls. And like, nobody's there. It's like, it's dead. You know what I'm saying? And I got there and I was like in Lowell. And I'm like, wait a minute, this is where the funeral home is. And it wasn't like connected to the funeral home. It was kind of like in the back building, right? And they were like, yo, if you're serious about your school, this was right when I got into college. And I was like, man, I need to find a job that will pay me where I can write rhymes and I can do my homework. So I did that job for 4 years and I took it real seriously because I wrote like 1,000 rhymes at that job. And I came out of that probably at 22 years old with more rhymes, honestly, than any human being I had ever met. And I'm not exaggerating. So the name Lyrical became like very, very fitting because like I was battling, making records. I'm literally obsessed to this day. Like I can't wait to write the next rhyme. Like I write rhymes like people go to the store. You know what I mean? So like I'm not playing around. You know, it's not like some like, oh yeah, like no, that's not. No, I see my life through the way that I write rhymes, and that's how I approach a math problem the same way. To answer your question, like I know I can do it because I've done it before, and now it's a level of proficiency where those are the 2 best things in the world that I do, and they're both in my careers. You know,
Lyrical. Let me ask you this: what institution did you get your bachelor's in?
UMass Lowell.
University of Massachusetts.
University of Massachusetts at Lowell. Massachusetts has 4 campuses. It used to just be the University of Lowell. It got snatched up by UMass when it grabbed like 3 or 4 of the campuses in Massachusetts. Lowell's like one of the biggest cities in Massachusetts. It's like Boston, Worcester, Springfield, Lowell. Those are your big cities. And so there's a Worcester, there's campuses like out that way. They try to spread them around. It was one in Boston and so forth.
Shout out to my family in Springfield. What's up with Boston and all these schools? Is Boston a bastion of superior learning? Why is that?
Yeah. Well, because you think of it like this, right? You got, first of all, like I want to address this because people don't address this enough, right? So Boston is a great place to live if you're white, right? Boston is like a go Sox, go Red Sox. It's like yay Celtics, right? Yeah, like it's like the white boy frat kid hangout because they got all these elite schools, right, which are all white. Traditionally, they have been. And so, of course, it's going to spill into, and not to say that real Boston don't look like that, right? When you go into Boston, Dorchester, Roxbury, Mattapan, which is sort of a hidden Boston from the rest of the world, right? You see the pretty downtown Boston, and it's pejorative, like white people is what you see. But Boston, in reality, is a city just like any other city, but it's extremely segregated, right? It's extremely segregated. It has been since the busing issues in the 60s. And so, like, people see like 2 different, if you're not from Boston, or you're not even from, if you don't have any idea the way New England operates, you wouldn't know that. So the colleges, they advertise, and all these kids come with their families and their like golf shorts and their, whatever the what's that thing called, Vineyard Vines or whatever, and they're like looking all the part, like, oh, I'm gonna go to Boston, it's so sweet. And like Northeastern, the funny part is Northeastern is the front door to the hood and the back door to the hood. It's like the front door, you walk out to Museum of Arts, but behind it is literally like the hood. You're in Roxbury, you're not in Boston, And so the front door is, but the back door is not. And that's very much how it is there. And there's other cities like that, but I say that all just to kind of like, kind of make the line that the reason it's such a hotspot isn't like there's smarter people just growing out of the well. It's they attract people from all over the world because of the technology. The hospitals are the best in the world. The colleges have built themselves up. Harvard obviously originally was the main beacon there, of course, right? And then everybody spinned off with these kind of like, oh, we're going to look like Harvard, or we're going to do this and we're going to do that to try to like go with that flow. And after time, just like anything, it built up like a little epicenter. And now you got it's what Nashville is to music, Boston is to colleges. You know what I'm saying? So for me, somebody who was trying to teach, I moved from Lowell right down to Cambridge, Massachusetts. I started taking the last 2 courses for my master's that I got, the last 3 actually. I took them at Harvard over the summer, and I met one of he might even be listening. Shout out to Roberto Martinez. My professor Robbie, he became like one of my mentors. I'm working with him right now in this COVID-19 project with a bunch of other mathematicians and statisticians. We've been working on this for like 4 months with health folks and whatever, and everybody who's like sort of their own specialty, writing and researching since his stuff came out. I met that dude in my last class. I had him for analysis, which is a difficult class at Harvard, but I transferred my classes back to Massachusetts. And meanwhile, this dude got his dual PhD in physics and mathematics. He became my mentor and really let me know. He was like talking to me about getting into Harvard to do my doctorate. And meanwhile, I had this opportunity actually from doing rap shows at Northeastern and doing stuff with the Celtics that was at Northeastern. I kind of had a little in for this program that was opening. And whenever I found out that I had the chance to get that job, and not to mention get to go to there for free in a wonderful program, I was like, yo, I think I'm going to Northeastern, So Northeastern's amazing, MIT, Harvard, there's just, the list goes on, Boston College, blah, blah, blah. And those are just the big name ones. There's about 100 different ones you probably haven't even heard of. So I've adjuncted 12 different schools, and I've only been full-time at 2, and I was able to do that when I moved to Cambridge. I'm rapping, putting on all the hip hop shows, doing 100 shows a year, putting on my album and teaching on the side at like 3-4 different colleges. So I left high school on a whim and said, you know what, I think I can do this whole college thing and hip hop thing at the same time. And I did that in 2005 and put out my album Infinity, which did real well for me back then. So
you're very loquacious, but I'm wondering why no one chose you to write for them.
Oh, I've written for many people.
Anybody you can name, or is it ghostwriting?
When you say can I name, I mean, yeah, those kind of are the same things. But like, I've written for dancers. I've written for athletes. I'm writing for politicians. So it's, yeah, it's not necessarily like name. I mean, if people want to say who they are after the fact, I mean, I guess, you could ask permission. I've written for a lot of companies. I've written a lot of commercials, like all that kind of stuff. I just did halftime for the Mystics, which was on behalf of Deloitte, which they needed like a STEM rap. So I do a lot of that stuff too. Most of what I do college shows. I speak and I perform and get paid a lot more than I would if I did a club show. And, I'll tell any artist out there listening, you get 10 times the money that you think you can get at a club. Like for me, I'd struggle to make $300 at a club in Boston because everybody wanted to play for free. And so even though I had a relatively big name, in that mid 2000 time while I was trying to do my master's at the same time, am I really going to leave and go do a show for like $200? You know what I'm saying? And like not do what I'm supposed to be doing. And after a while, you look at that formula and you're like, this is built to fail. But then all of a sudden, you do a couple of these college shows and you're like, wait a minute, they pay literally 10 times the amount that I could even fathom asking for. So like $3,000 to $5,000 at a college show, that's small change. And that's what rappers aren't looking at because it's not sexy enough. I get that regularly. That's my business plan. Like I speak, I perform, I talk, and I get paid regularly to do that. Now, it might be 15 to 20 times a year on top of what I do, but it's not like mega bucks. It's not, don't get it twisted, but compared to what I was making, it's mega bucks. And a lot of MCs don't check for that because it's not bright lights. And they're like, hey, let's make the cool like music that we hear on the radio right now. Why? Make the music that you're good at making. Don't try to go be somebody else and you'll find a market for it. The world is huge. And if you can market yourself effectively at the kind of music that you do and like, and have something relevant and interesting to say, a college will pay for you to come, and so will a corporation. And you don't have to do some shuck and jive kind of act to get them to come either. You can talk about the real deal that students know is the real deal. If you're saying what the students want to hear, the schools will bring you. It's not about what the faculty want to hear or whatever. I get on most of the stages at a college show, and I will say straight up, I will say the reason I'm here is because I have a doctorate, because I'm doc deployed. Or because I'm a professor, right? They have no idea if I rap dope. They have no idea. The students might be like, yo, bring him back, right? But to get in the door, it's almost an insult because what they're saying is hip hop is typically supposed to be stupid people music. That's basically what they're saying. And it's a shock to have me come because they're like, oh my, look, he has such academic credentials and he's a rapper. What? Like, can't the rest of you rappers be like that? Like, that's almost what it feels like sometimes. So I usually will make that point. And sometimes you don't get invited back, quite honestly, but I'm doing it really on one level for students to actually say, like, there's a path to do what you want to do. If you take two things and you put them together and they're different, there's a lane for you. It doesn't have to be rap or math or whatever. If you do something different than the next person does and it's out the box, there's a market for it. You know what I mean? But it doesn't make me any better of a mathematician or better of a rapper necessarily than the next person. It's just that I'm risking to do that, even though it's not like this big luxurious lifestyle. You're not going to see me up on billboards doing like massive, maybe, but that's not like my, if that happens, it happens, but that's not what I chase.
You've been told you're dope?
Excuse me?
You've been told you're dope lyrically?
Oh yeah.
Professor, he's switching gears on you now. You gotta go back and forth between.
So Dave, I think every rapper waits for that day, right, where they get validation from their peers, right? So for me, it was in 1993 when I was selected into the Battle for World Supremacy by DJ Clark Kent. And that was like the big thing for me. And so like when I was the first Massachusetts MC ever chosen to be in that, after sending my tape with bags and bags of other tapes that they'd have to go through to get selected, and I got to get in. Now, I didn't do well, but I later went on to win like Zulu battles and literally probably 25 battles over a string of about 6 years that were pretty big. And I lost a good share of them too from being overconfident, right? From sometimes thinking that, I'm a beast, I'm going to come in and I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Like I was speed rapping since I was like 14. And so I knew who Jay-Z was the first time that I saw him in like 96. But to most people, that wasn't a big deal because he hadn't blown yet, right? And so to me, like seeing a dude like that at that level that stuck with it and was kept doing it was another piece of validation for me too. At the time, seeing a rapper who to me, I was like, yo, where did this dude go? Like you see it all the time, like these rappers disappear that you thought were dope. So for me, like I thought that dude was dope. I didn't need anybody else to tell me he was dope. I thought he was a beast. And so when I saw him in like 95-ish, I was like, yo, that's Jay-Z. And people are like, who? like he couldn't even get into the same clubs we could get into at the time. And I'm not kidding. Like, you know, we could go into, I'd get let in the club and be like, I think you want to let that dude in. You know, that's how it was in 95, and boom. And he came to we brought him to Lowell High School. Well, DJ and Lowell brought him to high school. We brought up all the crew that we were with there in New York at the time. And shout out to Chubby Chubb and you know, who's living in Massachusetts as well. And there were like literally like 10 people in the audience in 1995. And the ironic part is 3 years later, he sold out the Songbus Arena that wasn't built yet with a line around the block. And when I say across the street, it was across the street. So it shows you what a person can do. Who cares if they're called dope? You know what I mean? If you know internally that what you're doing is incredible, and you got a will like they had and a team and a movement, sometimes it just needs that one or two people to believe in you and bust you through. And you know, people have that movement like Dame Dash created for him. They move like the military, you know. So I think the validation, you know, Jay is not like, I'm just using that as an example. Like, he's not some like, you know, yo, let me in the door. You know, he's not like aggressive kind of like that person. And that dude could have very easily just fell into the back if he didn't have one person to come out and believe for him. So sometimes it's my man Jay, who I'm working with right now. You know what I mean? He's just a local MC, you know, but he's a beast. I think he's an absolute beast. I'm working with this cat right now. We're working on an EP. Like, I don't care if anyone's ever said he's dope before. He's the dopest cat I've heard in years. So I'm privileged to work with him. You know,
does he call you Yoda? Is that who's calling you Yoda?
Oh yeah, I'm not looking at the thing right now. Yeah. He's a monster.
In your battles in your early days, is there anybody that you can name that you defeated that we would recognize?
See, most of the battles in the early days, man, were like, there was a cat in New York that I beat in Harlem for the Zulu Nation battle at the time. His name was Sprout, and he was like supposed to be like the biggest dude in the world. They're like, nobody can beat Sprout, right? And this dude was like, I don't know his whole history, whatever. No, people that I lost to probably have bigger names than the people that I beat. You know what I'm saying? Like people like, quite honest, like Supernatural, right? Like Supernatural was in the battle with me in '93, as was Mad Skills. Mad Skills and I thought we were sure locked to win because we were punchline rappers, you know. But Supernat came in the game and he freestyled in that battle, which we all did, mind you, but nobody was brave enough to do it on stage yet. Supernatural went into that battle and he freestyled and he ate every one of us up in that battle because all the rest of us were there with our prepared rhymes. And it's funny how that's come full circle, you know. But nah, I doubt it, man. Most of the battles, unless you up on like Massachusetts, you know, New England battle culture and stuff like that. But nah, there's nobody I can think of that's like, because by the way, too, I don't want to confuse that with new battles. Like, even though I'm doing some of those online and stuff now, you know, new battles, you have somebody you're preparing for like a month ahead of time. Like, I'm battling my man Memo. I had to write down the date, 8/28. He's dope. He's a battle MC from this new generation of, you know, prepared battles. I recently beat, I mean, and when I say beat, it's kind of weird because it was one of these prepared battle things, but I did one in, as soon as I came out here, I came out to DC. My man Doomy from Zimbabwe Legit, you know, that's an old name to throw out there to that group. He's still doing his thing. Peace to Doomy. He got me in this battle that was DJ'd and put together. MC Light hosted. It was at the Kennedy Center. It was like the second week I came out. I ended up winning that battle. And my verse was in that. She's real dope. I don't know if y'all seen her, but she's on the she's on Nick Cannon show, whatever. My verse. She's one of the illest like battle MCs you'll see. Her female, and she's just even higher, you know, just because of her MC skills as a female. But, you know, it wasn't head to head. It wasn't, I don't mean to make it like we were battling direct. It was a different kind of format. It was like we had to get in there and represent like hip hop culture. They partnered us with like a green company or whatever. So that was the first time in years that I actually had to write rhymes basically about the theme, and you had to get up on stage. And then at the very end, we go head to head in the finals or whatnot. Wes from out here in DC was in that. He raps with Raheem Devon. Does his thing, so he was up in that as well. So I ended up winning that. But I'm trying to do more of those, to tell you the truth, because now there's more. My biggest thing is if you give me time to write, like I feel like, you know, my pen game is definitely even better than my freestyle game. So I'd much rather be writing about a direct opponent. But the thing is, right, without going too much in it, I kind of don't like the format of, I think it's kind of corny that you sit there and you battle somebody that you've never met before, and I suddenly have to break you down, tell you how whack you are. I mean, it's kind of like, you know, there's something weird about that to me, but, you know.
I was hoping you said Marky Mark or the Funky Bunch.
Nah. No, No, never battle Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch. No.
Professor Lyrical, I just want to do some house cleaning notes here. Diva usually does this for us, but I'm going to go ahead and step in for her. I'm going to try to step into some big shoes. We are speaking with Dr. Ployd, also known as Professor Lyrical. He is an artist and educator known for using positive aspects of hip-hop culture to empower citizens to self-advocate for socioeconomic change. And you're here because you also just dropped a hot, fresh new release called House of Lies. What can you tell us about House of Lies?
Well, I can't say much before you play it, but what I can say is this: is that
can't play it, sir.
All right.
We're getting waxed. Zuckerberg's been waxing the hell out of us for playing music, so we're afraid to play it.
Oh, I see. So yeah, well, when you hear it, it's not exactly what it appears to be. So it sounds like an R&B ballad basically, and is me kind of talking, rapping, almost like spoken wordish kind of talking. And without giving it away, you have to wait for like the last 2 bars to really hear it. And the video perfectly captures kind of what we tried to do. We just shot the video out here in DC, and just an amazing job by the director there, the director who actually filmed this, Josiah Mendoza, just amazing, like a cinematographer, just an incredible eye, and really understood my vision for this thing. And I can't say too much. It's one of those tracks you have to hear it, because the whole thing there's a bit of a twist. And so you have to hear the song to hear the twist. But I will say this, right, for people that have heard it, it's funny because I'll give it to someone and they'll be like, yo, Lyrical, usually come harder on a track like that. Then I know they haven't heard the whole thing, right? And I'll be like, yo, did you hear the last couple bars? And they're like, nah. I'll be like, go back and hit it, and then come back to me. And then they're like, oh my God. Like, I had no idea. Yo, I was like, my kid was playing in the background. I had no idea. So you got to get through it. And then when you do, it has the benefit of having the effect it has is that you almost have to hear it like 3 or 4 times, because you realize what you missed. Absolutely. And then it becomes, kind of apparent. So
are you teaching at a HBCU due to the fact that you are, I don't know, have an affinity for hip hop?
No. I mean, yes and no. Let me put it this way. So when I was in Boston, I was looking for schools to come to. I had never heard of UDC. UDC was not on my radar. So when I saw that they had an opening, I was like, UDC. And then I read about them, and I was like, oh, word, they're an HBCU. Like, I mean, I just did my entire dissertation, referencing like the benefits of HBCUs and so forth for that PWIs can learn from, So I definitely was intrigued. And then when I went there and I did the interview, I really hit it off with a lot of the administration that I met. I met some of the students on the first day. I met Miss Deborah Gibbs. She was hitting me up earlier today. She was a secretary, just somebody I really liked and gelled with. And so I started meeting people there, and I was telling my wife, I interviewed a couple other places that were not HBCUs, and I wanted to be in a school that had an affinity for hip hop culture, right? That wouldn't run from it, and that would welcome what I've done. And I've been able to blossom there, for lack of better words. I don't know if I'll be there forever. It's being in academia is crazy. Like the tides shift real quickly. Sometimes what you're doing is more pursued by a different institution, and maybe what you were doing at that institution only has a certain shelf life until, then a lot of times what institutions do, and I'm not speaking just to mine, it's just any institution, they'll like sometimes try something and they'll run with it and they'll see where it can take them. And then they're like on to the next thing, you know what I mean? And like figuring out, and now with COVID, man, it's just anybody's guess what's going to happen.
Howard University wasn't hiring?
Howard, I know quite a few people at Howard. I did a TED Talk at Howard. It was really great. So that was cool after I got here. I did a conference. I spoke at Howard Homecoming, like the third month, I think I was here. Maybe it was the second month. I don't even remember, but it was real early. So I definitely, met almost my entire faculty. I want to say it's like the sister school, like half of them are from Howard, so it's totally different. We're a public institution, a public HBCU, public land grant, and an urban institution. That's kind of unheard of. So it's very interesting. And it's all
appropriations. They get congressional appropriations as well.
Yeah. It's definitely tied into the fiscal, way that the city is, and then with the district and federal. So there's a lot of, funding with those kind of schools, of course, when you're tied into the district like that. But it's the only option, really. There's no other public institution in all of DC. So we are the school, for DC's population. It's on the come up. Our president's amazing. By the way, our president had me do spoken word and rap on convocation. And he met me the first day, and it was like in the bathroom, and he was like, "Yo, I heard your work, dope." And I was like, "How did you hear my stuff?" So one of the people who hired him, told him, "Hey, there's this rapper dude through the pipeline."
So now we know who called you dope. Now, I'm wondering if I'm a student in your course and you put out is it pronounced book or is it all book?
Book, yeah, like album and book, yeah.
Okay, do I have to purchase the
No, absolutely not. No.
Okay, I'll still get a passing grade.
Yeah. That's, it's always, there's probably students that'll probably watch this right now. What's funny is my finals were Wednesday. I was teaching 2 classes right now. Finals were Wednesday, but I got people still emailing me around the clock, and they're always like, it's like half and half. Like I said, I got a lot of international students too that like they may not be checking for American hip hop necessarily as much as hip hop in their own country, but I'll get this email and be like, "What time are you on the thing again? Like, what time is your battle?" Like, what I'm saying? And then other people don't care. They're just like, "Tell me when the math test is due." You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a little both.
Unfortunately, Mr. Professor ProfLyrical, we're that time in the interview where I normally have the guests give us 16 bars. Now you have introduced an idea where you said you can write a song within 2 or 3 minutes.
Absolutely,
that would be phenomenal. Now,
absolutely,
I'm willing to allow you.
I mean, I think it's phenomenal.
Yes, I'm hoping I can.
I might not get dope from you. You might not find it.
Oh, you're dope. Don't get me wrong. I want
it, man. I'm ready.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is
rally hat.
I'm gonna give you the opportunity to go backstage, write this fantastic song for us.
No, man.
And we're gonna come back, say 20, 25 minutes, and you give it to us.
20, 25 minutes. What are you trying to give me, like an easy assignment? All right, man. I'll take you out.
Yes, and I want
to write you an album. 25 minutes.
Okay, so we'll come back in 10 minutes. But I want you to incorporate Hiphopcitizen. I want you to incorporate some of the going ons in the world today, and blow my skirt up, please. I want to be a
fan. You got to check that one out, Dave. I don't know if you heard House of Lives yet.
I heard House of Lies, and I didn't want to give it away, but I think it's about President Trump.
No, maybe.
Exactly. See, that's why I didn't want to say anything.
I thought it was about a lost love in DC.
It might be. It could be.
Okay, so there's multiple ideas to what that song is about, and everybody in the chat room, please go and check out House of Lies from Professor Lyrical, ProfLyrical, and we're gonna come back with ProfLyrical in a couple of seconds. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. How about that?
30 seconds?
No.
30 seconds.
I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. We're gonna come back. You're gonna have a song for us, a whole 20 bars, and I need hook, I need verse and hook. Okay,
man. All right. I hope I don't get points deducted if I have to read it. It had to be like this, yeah.
Hey, well, that's how he is in his classroom, apparently.
Yeah.
Ever since Drake used his what is that iPhone of some sort when he was in that freestyle battle, the voices are acceptable now. All right,
I don't know.
Down you can read.
I don't know. Cannabis might have something to say about that. But
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back with ProfLyrical in 10 minutes. Thank you, sir. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Just real quick, just so everyone, we got the website up there. What are your socials so they can reach you as well in the meantime, in the next 10 minutes while you're in the backstage putting that together for us?
So cool.
Check you out.
So I've had the same website for like 8 years. It's ProfessorLyrical.com. I just took it down to re-up it, but I got it like forwarded to my Instagram. But everything's Professor Lyrical. Everything's ProfLyrical, Professor Lyrical. Twitter's ProfLyrical. If you Google Professor Lyrical, there's like 30 pages of junk, so go through there. I'm very low on the videos, man. My video game is not where it needs to be. So my YouTube is on the low side, but my SoundCloud is /ProfLyrical. There's probably like 100 tracks up on there. Professor Lyrical.
Let me just say, since you put your hat backwards, I'm a little nervous. All right. I think
I might take it off. I might come off completely. Right.
Oh man, don't do that. I like the hardcore look with the hat backwards.
That's hardcore? I kind of thought I looked like a Boy Scout, but all right. See, I kind of look like a Skippy.
A minute ago was strictly Professor. What's that guy's name? From
Professor X.
From Leave It to Beaver. What was his name? Ward. It was Ward Cleaver. It was Professor
Ward, man.
But when you put it backwards, I definitely got a urban feel from you, brother. So
you got an urban feel. Right.
I can't wait to see what you have to present to us in 10 minutes. All right,
man.
Put him in a backstage for me, please.
We'll be right back with Professor Lyrical.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, wow, that was a lot to digest there. What's going on?
Professor, we had a real doctor on here, man.
Yo, y'all laid the gamut down. What's up with that?
Well, the man said you write me a masterpiece. I want to hear it.
Hey, man,
damn.
If you got that math aptitude, math people can do anything. You know what I'm saying? They have that foresight, that aptitude to put they're problem solvers, literally. And hey, if you
I'm not doubt. I will never doubt the mind of a man. That's the way that I'm built. So you guys lay the challenge out. I'm fully expecting that ProfLyrical is going to come out and make Dave eat his words. That's just where I'm at with it.
I want to say he's dope. I want to tell everybody we had a dope artist on. Okay, that's what I'm looking forward to. Hey, by the way, I read that there's tonight, August 8th, is Dialect 718's birthday.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. What you got planned, man?
Hey, man, I'm planning to do something. I'll find something to do.
My bad.
How old are you now?
I'm up there, man. In my 40s, 40-ish.
Okay, you should have put a picture up for yourself when you were talking about the birthdays.
I know, man. I forgot.
I agree. I think that's when we were supposed to step up and do it.
Yeah.
You didn't tell.
What kind of co-hosts are you guys that you would forget to add him into the birthdays?
We'll push it on Diva.
So what's been going on in the news?
Well, you got the articles, right? I sent you one about 50 Cent and Fox News. I sent you one about
what we got.
Okay, let's jump into the 50 Cent one.
Okay, and the Dr. Dre situation. He finally spoken on his divorce.
Oh shit. Okay. I've been out of the loop, man. So
Oh yeah, shout out to Anto in the chat room. He wants to know what borough I'm from. I'm from Brooklyn.
He's from Atlanta. He's from the borough of Atlanta. You can't call Brooklyn no more, brother.
Yeah, I'm from New York. I'm from Brooklyn, New York.
That's my birthplace.
35 years old, so I'm pretty sure that makes me a Brooklynite.
Oh my God. Yes. Okay. All right. So, 50 Cent. Do you have the article? We can read it real quick, or should I bring it up and read it?
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Okay.
Hey, big up everybody out there checking in, man, on the show. And also thanks for rocking earlier with me before we kicked off the Friday Night Live, man. And yeah, big up, man. Hiphopcitizen in here, man. The new revolution, baby.
Welcome back, Architect 7.
Yeah, I checked in earlier, man. It was an artist. I forgot his name, but he was also in the track. I thought his stuff was pretty dope, man.
Who's that?
The name, I don't know. I don't want to say his name wrong, but he was definitely listening while he was playing the song.
Mike Anderson.
Mike Anderson. I was thinking.
Yeah, I told him hit us up. Let's get the interview locked in, man.
Yeah, I thought that joint was real dope.
Yeah, he's from South Carolina.
Yeah, that shit was fire. I liked it.
What's up with this news?
Well, hold on. I don't want to seem like we're
Yeah. By the time you pull up the news, I think Professor Lyrical might have his bars ready.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to keep him held up too long. I don't even know why I sent it to Die. Like he's not going to have it for me. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, I could summarize it. 50 Cent he basically showed the video of the Lebanon explosion, and I guess he asked the question, "What do they have in there?" Then he hashtag like his I guess the brands of liquor that he's affiliated with, Branson Cognac, yeah, and something else. And people again on his case, they were saying he should have gave a rest in peace or told people to give donations and stuff like that.
Sound like he was calling some shit out to me, to be honest. What did he say?
I want to get the exact
I'm going to read it to you. It's loading right now on my slow phone. Okay, here it is. Rapper and actor 50 Cent is taking some heat. Okay, it's an article by Nat Day for Fox News. It says, yes, rapper after posting about the Beirut explosion on Instagram on Tuesday, the city of Beirut in Lebanon was rocked. by a massive explosion on the coast that has killed over 100 people and left 4,000 injured and has caused massive damage to the surrounding areas. Footage of the explosion circulated online throughout the day, which the Candy Shop rapper, that was a shot at him from Fox News,
right,
45, shared on social media. Hold on, 50 Cent, alongside a video, he wrote, "The fuck they had in there." Then he mentions the Branson and the Leche, whatever, liquor, Le Chamandu, Roy, both of which he's involved with. Social media users took to the comment section, slamming the star's caption. "You should be posting how people can donate to this disaster versus asking what's in there."
Hey, look.
God bless those families.
That's an interesting.
I'm gonna be honest with you. What he said is exactly what I asked when I see that video over and over again, because it still hasn't come out what exactly what the fuck it was anyway, right? So, in my opinion, they might advertise whatever, but it's gonna be an advertisement anyway. It's 50 Cent. No matter what he says, this is an advertisement, right? Yeah. He's asking exactly what everybody else is asking when they see that video. My opinion.
Yeah, thanks, Nicole. Yeah, we actually got a call in the green room.
That's Miss
That's right. That's the doctor.
That's ProfLyrical's wife.
Shout out to Nicole. I went to high school. I was so proud to hear that somebody was going to Berkeley. I was like, yo, somebody's going to Berkeley from my high school. But yeah,
okay. We
got the caller, right? Did we lose him?
The caller dropped. Yeah, when they heard me say we got a caller, they dropped.
All back, caller. Don't be scared. Don't be shy. That's what's all for.
I think what Fox News did take advantage of the fact of 50 Cent being facetious in such a serious situation, and he left himself open for being misinterpreted on if the fact that he minimized the damage or minimized the importance of what occurred in Lebanon. But it is absolutely a question that should be on everyone's mind. What could have caused that damage? Because
what the fuck they got in there? Yeah, Dave, it's a simple question.
Here's the thing, Dave. Like, I guess the problem was that he hashtagged the brands that he's affiliated with, but he does that with every tweet.
Yes. So, it's a Monica.
Yeah, so when you see that, it could have been like, yo, what they had in there. You know what I'm saying? Like, how is that, insensitive?
I think the whole point was the fact that 50 is not seen as a serious individual. You understand? They think all he is about trolling. So
okay.
They're thinking that this was an opportunity for him to troll a country that just received the devastating blow as like Baruch did. But the question what 50 Cent was saying basically was what caused that damage and what caused the pandemic we're in. Because that's what it is. These governments are allowing these things to occur, and no one's giving any citizens any answers.
That's it. That's it.
Yeah. I don't
100%. That's it. 100%, bro. You couldn't have said it better, Dave.
Yeah, I think there was a videographer actually filming a wedding at the time of the explosion, and I have the video.
Amazing.
So I just want to play that real quick so people can see the impact.
What a beautiful photo, by the way.
Yeah, they got a good glide cam going on right there.
Beautiful bride.
Yeah, very beautiful. In a matter of seconds.
The windows shatter.
Damn, son.
That is unbelievable. In a matter of seconds, man. All that virgin white.
Yo, what the fuck did they say that was? Like
2 megatons?
They gave it an answer to the elements that was used. I can't remember the name of the element, but they said something like 2 pounds or something.
2 megatons or something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. And to be honest, they said that's I think that's like 1/7 of the bomb power that was dropped on Hiroshima. So it wasn't Hiroshima type, but it was definitely Hiroshima like.
Yeah, but Hiroshima was dropped from what?
Nitrate. The grain houses. What I'm hearing is that something to do with the grains. You gotta have
nitrate.
So it was an attack. Did they finally determine that?
I thought they were storing food, grains. You can have explosions like that if it's not stored properly.
That's correct.
Fuck out of here. I'm not believing that in one. Come on, dude.
That was too huge.
Come on. Fuck no.
It happens on farms, though. You see those exposures.
Okay, got you. But come on, bro. It's in a very sweet spot, too, if you look at it. I'm just put my tinfoil hat on, that's all. But for real, come on, bro. Nah.
Right there on the docks, right. There's something else going on.
Yeah, nah. Fuck no. I'm not buying that.
Yeah.
Well, whatever they were developing, countries should be very, very concerned with, because if they drop that on them, there's going to be some
or
damage.
if it was an attack, like what?
Every nation needs to find out. Every nation has an interest to find out what the hell was going on.
That just goes. 50 Cent is the man for that post. You can get mad at me all you want, but that post is exactly the question everyone should be asking. I don't give a shit who it is. Period. He is not wrong. They can say what they want, call it whatever they want. You know what it is. He is not wrong. Fuck that.
He was just as curious as everybody else is that doesn't know what occurred. Now I'm torn between going into this next article with the Dr. Dre situation or returning to ProfLyrical and allowing him to give us his rhyme and then saying goodnight. And
has anybody checked on him?
I see him in the green room. ProfLyrical, give us a thumbs up if you're ready, ProfLyrical.
Yeah, he's ready. He got the headphones.
I think he's ready.
He got the thumb up.
Oh, look, check this out, man. Professor Lyrical.
Everybody. Dave, you about to eat crow, baby.
Dave,
Yeah, bring him in.
Yeah, let's bring him in. Let's see what he's talking about.
You about to?
What's going on?
ProfLyrical. All right. So Dave. So let's remind everybody where we're at and where we left you. So we were speaking with Professor Lyrical, also known as Dr. Lyrical. He's everything and all that, and a rapper who happens also to be a professor. And Dave Simon put him to a challenge. We're talking about the aptitude of being a mathematician and a rapper, and a challenge was made, sort of a light challenge that he could put together a few bars in a couple of minutes. And so now Professor Lyrical has returned to us. In all
There's some real shit.
ProfLyrical. And
all right.
It wasn't a challenge as much as I'm asking to experience some of that a lyrical talent in writing that the professor claimed that he has. And
you know what I also want to tell the MCs out there, just who might be listening, never settle with what you write on that first draft. You might think it's some hotness that first day. You got to take it like clay, man. You got to, the next day when you wake up, think about that first line. Was it really that dope? Was that outro really as good as you can make it? So I'll never stop working on my stuff too. That's kind of a secret. Like I'll think it's dope and I'll check it like a week from now. Kind of like when you're in the studio and you hear something and it sounds good that first second, you got to walk away, come back. So, we might start with this one. You might have to have me on next week and see what happens.
Well, ProfLyrical, I'm here to tell you right now, I have my two MC judges here.
All right.
X7 is a former rapper, and Dialect 718 is also a former rapper.
Did you say former?
You're
former.
That shit don't ever stop. Come on, bro. Don't do that. Don't do that.
I apologize. Current rappers, Architect 7 and Dialect 718. So you're being judged by professionals right now, sir.
Uh-oh.
So if you do come off,
I've already told him he's gonna eat crow. A little less dope than you normally do. We will have you back next week to try again.
I think. All right, we'll see what I can do. We'll see.
Well, there ain't no worries.
By the way,
shout. Let's give him a shuttle spot. Go ahead. I appreciate
you joining us tonight.
Thanks, man. I appreciate y'all having me. Yeah, check out that joint, and I can't wait till the video drops. So it's been cool having me up. All right, you ready? Let's start it with a freestyle, though, shall we? We don't even need to start with the written. Let's give them a little bit of both, right? Sound good? All right. Yeah. You said right, but I'm going to switch it to left. I'm going to come right off with the top of the head. You saw the hat. It was green, had a turn of its mean. I was watching the Celtics game. I'm waiting for 18. That's the banner. Actually, 17. Where we all at? We trying to spit 16s. Now, I'm just freeing off the top of the mind. That's the MIND. Need a remind. I heard Dave Simon. He gave me a rhyming challenge off the top of the head. Lay down the gauntlet. Then I came through and I had to just drop it for Boston. Represent lyrical, no nonsense. Flipping off the top of the head. I'm like, come on, kid. All right, so that was just a freestyle. But let me see what I can do. I wrote down a few things here. Let's check it out.
Hold on, Professor. That was pretty nice, Doc.
All right, I appreciate it. Appreciate
dope because you put my name in it.
Well,
I did.
But the challenge was to say Hiphopcitizen, though. So,
okay.
So you can lose some points for that, though. You know, you're supposed to mention Hiphopcitizen. Half a credit for Dave Simon.
Have Hiphopcitizen. Take it easy, Don.
I don't know my flow here yet, but let's see what we got. That's what I wrote down. All right, check me on your widescreen. I'm on your live stream, rocking the Celtics fitted with the gold and the lime green, singing that you was listening, so I gave him a quote live for all my citizens till Dave says it's dope. Rhymes that I select on August the 8th, spit with dialect on some 718. That's that Bronx area, the home of it all. But I'm home in my living room, rhyming with y'all. Friday Night Live in the house of mine, here promoting the new joint. That's a house of lies. And I ain't even trying to say you shouldn't be listening or that Dave gave it away, but it was all about the president setting the precedent for spitting in bars. We covered backstage on some Wizard of Bars. Yellow Brick Road, ProfLyrical's name. You know my spit game, upper echelon, beyond a thick chain. Fast life, moves in the streets, making a quick change. I make a quick change like Clark in the booth. Then I target the youth and come talking that truth. No marketing boost. And everybody knows it's house of lies. And that was a freestyle and a written. I didn't lie. Peace.
Okay.
That's all I got. That's all I got.
That's Lyrical, no doubt about it.
I was listening to y'all too, so I was a little distracted. Like I had the sound on, so I was like, "Man, I gotta write something." Man,
you fentanyl, bro. You are fentanyl.
That's trying it, man.
Man, that is awesome, man. Professor Lyrical, everyone, man. What a phenomenal guest, Professor Lyrical. Like Dave said, we look forward to seeing more of you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
House of Lies, man.
Wine, look at eating the mic.
Yeah, I'm trying to eat it up. It's the song out already. I mean, the song.
And yo, I want to tell everybody who might be listening, since I told some people they'd be able to hear the track and you guys can't play it, I'm going to play it on my page right now. So I'm going to play it over there. So check it out if y'all want to check it out.
Go to ProfLyrical.com and check out the new House of Lies. That is a phenomenal project.
Damn, Dave, he got you.
Go to www.ProfessorLyrical.com and see the video House of Lies.
And let us know what you think, man. Let us know. We want to hear the feedback. Let us know what you think about that. The video's out there, right? Is the video done there?
Yeah. Well, the teaser video's out there. You can hear the real song everywhere. It's on, SoundCloud, Spotify, all that. Wherever you get your music, you can. I have not even premiered it on my own page. So,
experience this dope MC, ladies and gentlemen.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
Professor Lyrical, everyone. Thank you for joining us here on the live stream, sir.
Okay, hey,
yo, so what you think, Dave?
Put up the Mary E. Walker. The Mary E. Walker comment.
What's that?
Yeah, Mary E. Walker. She said some phenomenal things.
Oh, the Mary E. Walker comment.
I've been inspired in elementary school, right, Dave? Is that what you saw?
No, she said it's dope.
She said it was dope, but she also said that she was inspired to teach rap to her elementary class. So,
yes.
So that that's a phenomenal thing there. Shout out to Mary Walker.
That's right. Shout out to Mary Walker and shout out to Professor Lyrical for that phenomenal display of lyrical talent. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I didn't see a great interview coming when I first read the bio and dissected the material that we got. I thought, oh, this is gonna be a snooze fest. You understand? But no, he turned out to be very excuse me, I'm choking on my words.
Rona.
It turned out to be a very dope MC, a very conscious individual, and very open-minded. And I appreciate that. That always is the beginning to a great interview. Is when an individual is as open-minded and conscious as Dr. Lyrical, Professor Lyrical.
Yeah, he's one of those people that I would call like an E. MC's MC square. Because, you know what I'm saying? Like, when you had UG was like, y'all do a freestyle. He didn't care. But no knock on no other MCs that we have here, but we had MCs come on here and say, yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. My off the top game is not that great. So they go in and spit in writtens.
That's right.
He gave us both.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's to be admired. You know what I'm saying? That he's able to do it on the spot.
And to all former guests and future guests, if you don't freestyle on here, I don't consider you an MC. So, you know who you are. I'll just leave it like that.
Yeah, shout out to this week's guest that you had, Peaceful Pinder.
Yes,
he dropped. I think did he was his off the top too?
I believe so.
His was off the top too, man. Shout out, and that was a young cat.
Yes, well, he's 26. I don't know how young that is.
And we can catch that where again?
The David Simon Show on Hiphopcitizen on Facebook, YouTube.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Mrs. Martin.
Yes, Miss Martin. Happy birthday to you too, dear.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What did I miss?
Yeah, Architect. I was just telling them that ProfLyrical was one of those MCs that you got to say actually practices the art form of MCing.
Yeah.
Real MC to go off the top. A lot of them be like, well, I ain't that good off the top. He did both.
Right. Yeah. Nah. There's nothing you can say. I think. Dave, I think you finally got the answer you were looking for. You said you wanted to say he was dope, right?
Yes.
And so it's official, right, Dave? He's officially dope, right?
Hey, anybody that incorporates my name in the rhyme is dope to me.
You did have a guest that refused to do that.
Yes, and on the 19th, I'm gonna convince him to do it.
Okay.
We got to see that.
Let me explain myself. When the concept of the birth occurs, it's an event for both mother and child, and normally I consider birthdays for both individuals, mother and child, because it was such a day for both to remember. That's all I was saying. I wasn't trying to be my usual wise ass self. Okay, here we go. Dr. Dre responds to wife's claim that she was pressured into signing the prenup. After 24 years of marriage, Dr. Dre and Nicole Young are ending their union. Nicole filed for divorce back in late June, and she's claiming she was pressured into signing a prenup. Nicole claims that 2 years after signing it, Dr. Dre tore it up. According to court documents obtained by TMZ, Nicole says Andre expressed to her that he felt the shame pressuring her to sign it. She says that he tore it up, the paperwork in front of her, and that he felt guilty for making her sign one. However, Dr. Dre says that didn't happen. He told TMZ he didn't feel ashamed asking his wife to sign the prenup, and says he never forced her to. Dr. Dre says that Nicole's lawyer looked over the paperwork as well. The super producer is willing to pay Nicole spousal support and her expenses, but she feels she deserves more since Dr. Dre gained a lot of his fortune during their marriage.
So here's where she slipped up at. Like, if there was this was like the Bill Duke scene in Medicine Society. And he goes, you don't messed up, right? No, you don't messed up, right? Because here's the thing: is she said she was pressured to sign it, then he ripped it up. So why does it still exist?
Well, because I explained on my show, he pulled the magic trick on her.
But isn't a prenup an official document that is signed by lawyers,
correct,
courts? Yeah. So what is she talking about? It makes sense as to why this is.
Well, you remember
what is she talking about?
You remember D.D. Barnes? So Dre's known for pressuring women.
Come on, man. That's outside of the scope. Yeah. That's outside of scope. We're talking. She's saying he forced her to sign it, right? Then he ripped it up, right? But that's something that you file, right? That's not just something you keep in your dresser drawer on some notebook paper.
You need a notoriety and a witness for it to be official.
And she's right. She's a profession. She's a lawyer by profession, right? Or she just a.
I don't know what she does, but
yeah, they call her attorney. So I don't get it.
Because if he ripped it, that means he would have probably had to produce some type of document taped together or something like that. That's why I just said it doesn't seem right if lawyers reviewed it. And what is she trying to gain? You know what I'm saying? Like
Anto 2007 said, "Come on, man, that was 30 years ago."
Yeah,
divorce, hey man, they bring all that shit up, man. Trust me. In a divorce, all that shit comes back up.
Oh man, anything you do.
I could tear up a copy of the Constitution, but that doesn't mean that the Constitution is no longer
you know what I'm saying? Basically.
You have to look at it like that. Like no matter Thank you, Miss Martin. No matter what he tore up, unless it was the original copy of the prenup, it still exists. And you know what? Honestly, he should have forced her to sign a post note. No. After he started making money, say, hey, I'm making a little. I done signed with Apple here. Maybe you should sign this again. Just in case.
They've been married for almost 30 years, so he had that 80s money. He had to turn off the lights money.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true. But man, fuck out of here. Come on, man. She's talking. Come on, man. That story's bullshit. Stop. Cut the crapola, man. Come on.
Yeah, because obviously it still exists.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this, gentlemen. This is what I pose to you. Do you think she would have filed divorce if she thought that prenup was still standing?
Well, that's a good point. I mean,
again, the simple thing is, it's a document that is filed, put away, it's signed off, notarized. There's no, come on, cut the shit.
Yeah, and even if you rip this copy, there's other copies floating around.
It's like
but in every prenup, it's always a clause or some sort of statement that says if the man decides to file for divorce, then the prenup is no longer like important in the case. So by him convincing her that the prenup was torn, and she felt that she could file for divorce and get half of the money, then it was a.
So you think? So you think he played the okie doke on her?
I think Dre convinced her that the prenup was no longer existing, so that she would file, and he didn't file because he knew that the prenup did exist, and if he filed, it would be.
Well, sorry for you. You should have checked, sweetie.
Correct. She should.
Whoops. Whoops.
The only way the prenup is like it doesn't get discredited or like it's null and void because he rips it. You know what I'm saying? Once it's signed and there's other copies floating around, it still exists. If he wanted to find an amended one where he says, like, the prenup is null and void, then fine. But if that wasn't done, regardless if he rips a copy, it means it's still active.
But she would have never filed, and he couldn't file. Once he filed, then he would have been.
Hey, look, if Dre was like, they were at the table, right? And Dre was like, he had the lawyer there, he signed everything off, blah, 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 or notary, whatever. Signed it off, right? Paperwork leaves, right? Then he has a separate conversation with her where he says, baby, don't worry about that. I tore that up. It's no big deal. This, that, and the third. You know what? He did
I'm sorry, architect. The challenge I have is Nicole Young is an attorney. I mean, what kind of attorney are you if you don't know this? And I'm looking at
She's an attorney? And she's an attorney?
She is an attorney.
Why are we even having this discussion? Sorry, the joke's on you, Jay.
This is the part that confuses me. How does an attorney not know that a prenup exists?
See, I'm not hip to like the status of all the individuals involved. I didn't know she was an actual lawyer, so
I didn't know neither.
That makes it even worse.
Oh, that's
stupid ass.
The statement in the article says that she had an attorney present during the prenuptial agreement, and that attorney did sign off on it as it was good, or rather, it was no longer valid in their marriage.
Yeah, so she is whatever.
So why
she's full of shit.
They have this thing where they make it seem like a prenup is a bad thing. Like, if both parties agree to it, because Kevin Hart, I think he even had one with his current wife.
Hey, while Diva's not here,
Breakfast Club.
Hey, while Diva's not here, I'm just gonna say this while Diva's not here, right? Men one, women none. I'm saying we're starting here. We're starting right here. Listen, we're starting right here with this topic, this discussion. The competition starts now. Men one.
No. Diva's not here. Let me get one in.
No, I'm just.
Jada Pinkett made it 1-1, my friend. It's 1-1.
Okay.
Yeah,
you think so?
Yes, sir.
Entanglement.
Dre tied it up.
You said Dre tied it up? Okay, I'll accept that. My ego's not that big. I'm good. We can take it's 1-1. We tied.
You know why the prenup is seeming like a bad idea here, Dialect? Because in her statement there that she says that he earned majority of his fortune during their marriage, that might be correct because according to Suge Knight, Dre left there with his underwear, left Death Row with nothing. So that was about 24 years ago. So if
that's all he had was his underwear,
according to Suge Knight, Dr. Dre was lucky to have that when he left.
That means he had the wardrobe was Death Row. He had to give that back.
He had nothing. And prior to Suge Knight robbing him, everyone knows that Eazy-E and Jerry Heller robbed him. So, Dr. Dre learned. If he didn't learn anything,
I don't know, bro. You can say they robbed him, but if I look right now, I see who's having a last laugh.
Yeah, I just want to say I agree with Ant 100%, dude.
Now, the reason why I say that is because, I think like a lot of these celebrities, they see what happened to like the celebrities of the past, like a Michael Jordan, and they say to themselves, look, I love my spouse, but if this doesn't work out, I want to be there for the kids, but I just want to make sure they're not entitled to, half my income, so let me sign this prenup. Don't get me, as a wife, they do deserve something, but here's the thing: she agreed to sign it, so you got to agree with the terms. You can't say to yourself, now that he has more money, and Don Juan, let me finish before you jump in. Now that he has more money, it doesn't mean that we should switch it up now, and I could say I was lied to. No, you just have to say, you know what? I got money coming in. Let me start my own business and create my own wealth.
Well, a little side fact, most prenups are invalidated once kids are entered into the agreement. You can have a prenup prior to kids, and once kids are born, a lot of that prenup is just gone.
Correct, having kids doesn't entitle you to half everything. It entitles you to child support and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But not
that could be as much as half.
All right, hold up. So let's I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna swing it back around, right? So you say it's not worth half. Do you believe that there are women that have, you figure their husband's traveling, he's on tour, the kids are at the crib, she's watching the kids, she's doing all the work with the kids, she's taking them there, taking them to soccer, whatever the fuck's going on while he's making a living. How can you minimize that part of it?
Yeah, well, the earning part, see, this is the funny thing about divorce. The man is supposed to do all of that. And as long as the woman provides a decent home to raise a family in, then she's done her part of her job. You understand? She's not obligated to work if the husband can provide for the entire family. And most divorces, when a woman does that, stay at home, that is factored in the divorce settlement. Her working at home, providing a home for the husband and the family. But that's not the kicker. The kicker is when you get hit.
She's a lawyer, though, bro. She's a lawyer.
I don't know about that. But when you get hit by a Walmart truck and you're married for 3 years, and then the woman wants to divorce and take half of your $90 million settlement, there you have an issue. You understand? And that is what Tracy Morgan is facing right now.
Damn. I know Tracy wish it was an Amazon truck instead of a Walmart truck.
Yeah, but I don't know if you guys saw this. I don't know if I shared it with you, but Blake Griffin, I guess he went through a divorce, and they said he has to pay $258,000 a month.
$258,000.
What's his contract?
To pay in child support, and I'm like, wow.
But what's it? I'm just wondering what his contract and all that other shit is.
He must be
what his contract is.
Yeah, but the question is, was there infidelity? You see, he was rumored to be hanging out with one of those Jenners. And still married. So that might be partially punishment for his infidelity as much as it is for.
So are we saying that he was sleeping with one of the Jenners? Is that what we're saying?
That's what the rumor was, that he was dating Kylie's sister. What's her name?
Salary on Blake is $29 million a year.
So that's
okay.
But that's not for the rest of his life, though. You know what I'm saying?
That's 1%. That's 1% every month of his salary.
Correct.
That's very interesting.
When the contract is up, does he still have to pay $258,000 a month?
I think there's a renegotiation there.
5 years, $171 million. That was his contract. 5 years, $171 million.
Okay, but you got to. You probably got to knock off for $9 million after taxes.
You got to knock off a lot of millions.
How's he going to live with $20 million a year? Feel for the guy.
But like I said,
How you live off that shit? How you live off that shit? I don't know.
a lot of it is punishment for his embarrassment of that woman walking around with a Jenner. You know that Jenners are very popular. They are always photographed by paparazzi. So that woman at home taking care of that family can say in the court that she was embarrassed and humiliated.
So that's where I'm coming from. That's where I'm playing devil's advocate, because we're saying on one side, you know, how the dude gets railroaded, but at the same time, like, come on, man, you know, dealing with them little shits, that shit ain't easy, man.
I mean,
that shit ain't easy. Hey, George, I agree. George Manzo said good for Dre, and I agree.
What about? I'm sorry to cut you off, Architect. What about the brothers who divorced celebrities, man? Like Eric Benet, he walked away with zero, man. From that,
he walked away with what?
Hey,
that's what he brought into the relationship
after he with Halle Berry.
That's because he chose to walk away with something. The guy that she married after him walked away with a nice piece of change.
Halle Berry had that man going to award shows with no shoes on, and that's the fact.
Hey, could be worse. Could affect me.
What's going to happen if Kim get divorced? Well, I'm sure Kanye has a prenup. I think that's the only reason why.
Hey, what's gonna happen if Kanye and Kim get divorced? Holy shit, bro!
Kanye's gonna become a black man again.
What do you mean, poor? Is that what you mean? He's gonna become poor?
Well, yeah.
Nah, I don't see that happening, bro. Like,
Jesus walks, so that's just gonna pay you for a while.
I mean, I don't see them getting a divorce though. I think she might make more than him, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
I had a debate with that. Yeah, my boss in Texas says the same
not
thing.
At this point. Maybe before when they first met. Not right now.
Kanye is $3.3 billion according to Forbes. So,
but then who's to say that she didn't help gain some of that wealth too?
Yeah, she getting half of that shit, dog. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, all Kanye has to do is say, look at the concert tickets from Watch the Throne. And that was prior to him marrying Kim Kardashian. And that was one of the biggest selling tours, I think, to date.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Damn, I never knew that.
Man, I hope the marriage works out for the best of them, man. I mean, they got too many children right there. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
And poor Kanye,
man. What do you say when every man that's gone through that family has been run through the fucking mill? What do you say?
When's my turn?
What do you say? When's my turn?
Man, let's go. Let's get rid of Travis Scott. Let's get rid of Kanye.
Look at this, man. I mean, he walked away from that. He didn't even marry a Kardashian, but he still gets like what, $4 million a year.
Let's get rid of Tristan Thompson. Let's go.
Tristan Thompson already gone. He's already gone.
Nah,
is he gone? He got caught out there cheating, right? Didn't he get caught out there?
Bringing them back. Cole keeps bringing them back, dude.
Yep.
So he's doing something right somewhere.
He's like a thin black dress. Chloe keeps putting it on.
Yo, they had Lamar Odom off the cliff, bro. Like they just get in the whip and just drive that shit off the cliff every fucking time, dog.
They're drugging all the brothers out there, man. They drug everybody.
They're like, come on, get in. Woo. Right off the cliff. Woo.
Then you got poor Ray J looking like Little Joe from the Today Was a Good Day video at Ice Cube, man. Just shaking his head, man, saying,
I don't know. Ray J is the only one that came out clean.
He set the trend for all of this success, and he just got nothing to gain with it but some scooters.
No. Ray J he's done very well for himself with that.
Hey, yo, Anto, you're right. I didn't even think about that, bro. James Harden survived it.
His game got way better after that, man. That man was
knew quick.
He was pulling threes, getting foul, falling on the floor. 4-point plays like crazy.
Who was hard with?
You say his shot percentage went up?
Yeah, went up, man. He was getting 4-point plays like crazy. He was, Chloe, I believe.
Oh, that's the reason why.
Chloe's running through everybody.
If Kim had got her hands on James Harden, he would have shaved that beard a long time ago.
So who was it that he was messing with? Was it Chloe?
It was Chloe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think Harden was giving her no money, so it didn't last long.
Yeah, he was like, shit, you got me fucked up. I'm out of here. He's like, stop playing with me.
I think he left her because I think he had a deal with Reebok, if I'm not mistaken. and he was out with her wearing some Jordans. And I guess that's taboo when you got to deal with one sneaker company. Well, after that, I think they kind of went south.
Yeah.
Who's that? Him and Chloe?
Yeah, him and Chloe. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so he was wearing Jordans for her.
What else is in the news, Dialect? What else we have in the outline?
I have Only Built for Cuban Links 25th anniversary.
Okay, let's talk about that. One of the greatest albums ever, if not the greatest album ever.
Yeah, Architect. We were talking about this earlier. So what do you think about the impact of this album on hip hop?
Yo, you know what, man? Verbal Intercourse. I have to say that shit was probably one of my top 3 as far as singles.
Mm-hmm.
Verbal Intercourse is up there in my top 3, easy.
Yeah, what I remember from this album was like when Wu-Tang came out. I think like one of the few rappers I was really checking for in the group. No knock to them, was probably like You God and Ghostface. Like I wasn't really listening to those two. But when Ghostface co-hosted this album or co-starred on this album, somebody got to mute their mic. I thought Ghostface went off on this one, man. I mean, I think he showed up on this one. That's what I remember most about this album. When he did Criminology, I said, yo, Ghostface is a lyrical genius, man. He was saying shit like injecting gorillas with the strength of 80 midgets. He was just in the zone, man. He was just saying some stuff, man. Ghostface was on.
You just said midget.
What's that?
I said midget. That's politically incorrect.
I'm sorry, but that's what he.
No. Go ahead. Go ahead.
80 Dwarfs probably wouldn't have rhymed with what he said, but this was one of like the dopest albums Wu-Tang ever put out. Dopest solo projects.
Yo, what up, my man George Manzo, man? That's a fucking childhood friend checking in. What's up, baby?
My favorite track was Incarcerated Scarface. When Raekwon says, "You want to battle for cash and see who's Sun Tzu?" I was like, "Whoa,
yeah.
Who the hell is Sun Tzu?"
Yeah, and this actually started the whole rappers taking on that mafioso trend. Changing their names. In the Wu-Tang had all these different aliases.
Noodles.
Yeah, I think Raekwon was Lou Diamonds, Ghostface Tony Starks, Method Man Johnny Blaze, RZA Bobby Steele. And this album also introduced us to Capadonna. This was the first album we heard Capadonna on.
That's right, Ice Cream.
Yeah, he was on Ice Cream and he was on, Juan, your mic is muted.
Oh, yeah, I still think Capadonna is the most underrated Wu-Tang member.
No, I think U-God is, actually.
Yeah.
U-God or Capadonna? That's the question.
That's the
Capadonna. Then you also had like other guys like Master Killer. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I'm not like, all of them were lyrically nice, but I'm just saying, like, they had some of those that weren't as stand out as the other artists in the group when it came to solo projects. Because Capadonna had two classic albums, The Pillage, and I forgot the name of the second one, but those 2 albums are fire.
Yeah, compared to U-God, I don't think he even had. Did he put out an album, U-God?
He did. And
okay.
The single was pretty dope, and I think Master Killer put out a solo album with him and Old Dirty Bastard. That was the first single where they used the Sanford and Son sample.
Okay, I don't remember any of that.
Yeah. But yeah, definitely, man. This was the album I think where Ghostface really stepped up his lyrical game, and he's never looked back.
Well, Ghostface was hot on 36 Chambers.
Yeah, he was hot on 36 Chambers, but you remember you still had standout artists in that, like Method Man, who everybody was checking for. You had Jizza, you had ODB, but Ghostface really showed out on this album, though. Only Built for Cuban Links.
I understand what you're saying. He was mostly background. But wait, Can It Be Was Also Simple was classic on 36 Chambers.
Yeah, it was a classic.
The whole album is classic, every song. Yeah.
But I'm just saying, like Ghost, I think Ghost got into a zone where he just got real metaphorical with it, man. Like just in Criminology, when he had that line, "I hand glide, holding on strong, hard to capture." Just like the visuals of his lyrics, man, was crazy, man.
Yeah, comic book influence.
Yeah.
He stood out in the Jizza album as well. When he said, "Why is sky blue? Why is water wet? Why did you grab the rope while Jesus slept?"
Then he had that line, "Iron Man be sipping rum out of Stanley cups."
Unflammable.
Yeah, the visuals of his lyrics, man, crazy.
Yes. Ghost is dope. Maybe even top 10.
Then when he did his first solo album, Iron Man, when he just he sampled that the whole movie of the Education of Sonny Carson, who is actually the father of Professor X, who would have celebrated a birthday this week. You know what I'm talking about, right? Like all those little audio clips.
Oh yeah. I put just me and you.
Yeah, correct.
I put trays around your eye.
That was a classic album, Iron Man. And to me, that's when Wu-Tang, the albums after that started stepping up, man. I mean, the Purple Tape kind of paved the way for that. And you also got people, they also forget to shout out the RZA on this, man, because it was his vision and his beats that carried this album through.
Yo, you figure they had a good 2 cycles, right? A first cycle where they dropped the crew joint, then each individual dropped, then they dropped another crew joint, then they dropped an individual, like everybody came back around. Like that was a successful run. That's a heavy run, man. That's not easy shit.
You're right.
When people look back and dissect the hip hop era from the 90s to early 2000s, Wu-Tang will probably be the most prominent group out or lyricists out. I mean, Bad Boy, Death Row, they would probably all fall to the wayside. Well, Tupac and Biggie would keep those labels up there in the top 3 conversation. But Wu-Tang has been the most dominant, if you look back, of artists in that late 90s, early 2000s.
Method Man had the weakest solo album.
I know. But go ahead.
Well, yeah, I had a sidebar conversation with Ant. We was talking about not many Wu-Tang members had a classic solo albums, just Ghost and Ray and Jizza. And I said, what about Method Man? And he says, well, Method Man had the weakest solo albums.
I'm sorry, Old Dirty Bastard had the best solo album out of it.
What about ODB, Ant? You know what I'm saying? Come on, you're missing a lot of Wu-Tang members there.
Yeah, I think ODB probably for me was probably the second one. I love that ODB album.
Yeah, Return to Chambers, period.
That's the beauty of Wu-Tang. It's like everybody has their artists that they gravitate to. And ever since this album came out, I've been a Ghost fan ever since. Like all of his albums, like I listen to.
Yeah. Old to the new, everything he's ever put out, for real.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the Locks didn't even enjoy their time on Bad Boy. So it'd be hard pressed to convince others that their time on Bad Boy was productive.
And another thing I got to say about Wu-Tang, too, they actually lived up to the term "keep it real." They never faked any moves. You know what I'm saying? Even when they came out with Protect Your Neck, you could see it was like a single camera video shoot. The timestamp was still at the bottom. But from that one low budget video, they built such a grand career that labels wanted to sign them, and labels wanted to be branded with Wu-Tang. Back then, artists wanted to be branded with a label, whether it was a Columbia, Arista, Bad Boy, but the labels wanted a piece of Wu-Tang because they were so big. And they never faked any moves. Nobody could ever say anybody in Wu-Tang was fronting.
It's actually a dope ass documentary too.
And I'll tell you, God honest, I don't think that there would ever be another 9 MC group signed to one record label ever again.
That's true. Just like a Michael Jackson. You're never get a Michael Jackson, you never get another Wu-Tang.
Yeah, man. But this album definitely changed things. And also, too, this was the album that kind of brought out Wu-Wear.
Yeah. Damn right. They was talking about the Clarks, the Wallabies.
Yeah.
And the T-shirts, Wu Gambino T-shirts.
Mm-hmm.
Shit, the motherfucking Wallabies. You kidding me, bro? You get the fucking camo with the Wallabies, the fresh ass Wallabies that go with it, not the dark browns, but the light joints, the light tan joints, the suede joints, baby.
I remember being a kid out of the DC area coming up to New York to Staten Island to go to the Wu store, and I was shocked to see it was like a really small store.
Yes, but so was 48.
That's all they needed. A really small store, really big name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my favorite line from Only Built for Cuban Links was Ghostface and Ice Cream. When he had that one line, he was like, "I'm high powered for the Dina Howard to sleep. Your pardon. That bitch been on my mind all week." But back to you, Maybelline Queen. I was like, man, you could big up another girl while you trying to holler at the chick, but you don't care because lyrically you so nice. You know, I thought that shit was dope, man.
That was fire. It's still a classic line.
And you know what set it all off? The Jodeci remix. Where Jodeci, ice cold milking in the fridge. Yeah, that let everybody know that these two together was like Starsky and Hutch, Cagney and Lacey, Batman and Robin, and they still can't catch me. Who said that dialect?
Oh, that's Big Daddy Kane. Warm It Up Kane, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
Wow, you see the brain computing that? I mean, he looked up.
Mm-hmm.
I had to go back and listen to it. I had to hear the line after that. Cagney and Lacey, Starsky and Hutch, but you still can't face me.
That's it.
He said Woo Nails and Woo Store were both small. I didn't know they had Woo Nails. They were.
You know what's funny? Y'all bring up Jodeci. Did y'all know that Mr. Dalvin from Jodeci produced Rainy Days Part 2?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he produced.
It's raining.
No, not that one.
Oh,
it was a remix that they had did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, where they sampled Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes.
I wonder which one was that?
You ever heard of Harold Melvin and Blue Notes song? You Know How to Love Me?
I don't remember. I have to sing it.
Yeah, you got to take that out after the show.
Okay, definitely. Okay, so are we gonna play the clips tonight or no clips?
All the clips I have music in them, man.
Okay, so we took this week off with the clips, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, I'm sad to announce, but
so why can't we have the music in them? What the fuck's wrong with the music?
I mean, I'm cool with that, but I mean,
I feel you.
We're trying to sell this stuff here. I was about to say,
I feel you. I feel you.
Shout out to ProfLyrical, Professor Lyrical, www.professorlyrical.com. Go and check that page out. Shout out to his lovely wife for hanging out with us tonight. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. I wish Diva was here. She would give your names. And to
George Manzo. We got Sherry T.
Yeah, the Anto 2007 from Staten Island.
From Staten, okay. Yep, okay. Nicole P. Jones.
Mr. Cruz, Miss Walker, Miss T, Miss Martin. All you guys, I appreciate you. Raganese, my main man. Thank you for hanging out with us tonight. I'm going to bid you farewell tonight. I'm a little bit tired and worn out. Good show, everybody. My name is David Simon. You can catch me at the David Simon Show every Wednesday, 9 to 11, where I hang out with my main man, Dialect. Coming up weeks, this week, we're supposed to have Ray Luke, the director of A Force to Sin. He's also producing a new film called In Vain. Hopefully he'll come through. Maybe he even bring Colin Kilkenny. We still got our fingers crossed on that. And you can check me out on Facebook at David Simonism and David Simonism on the David Simon Show on Instagram. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. And the floor is yours, fellas.
David Simonism. Hey, great having you, David.
Thank you.
Yeah, you can find me at Dialect 718, Instagram and Twitter, and Hiphopcitizen on Facebook.
And I'll just go ahead in front of you, Architect, if you don't mind. I just want to say once again, happy birthday to you, brother. Dialect 718. It's his birthday.
Thank you.
Happy born, man. You know what I'm saying? Ring that notification bell for Dialect's birthday, please. You know what I'm saying? Just happy birthday to you, brother. I'm Don Juan the Mac. You can always find me anywhere Hiphopcitizen is. Just hit the hashtag or the inbox, and we're there.
And I am Architect 7. You can find me on Instagram. You can also find me on Facebook with the 7 spelled out. Architect 7. And that's it, man. And then you can find me dropping in who knows when. I try to find the right time to bring you guys some new joints that I might find along the way during the week. I guerrilla style it. So just be on the lookout, you know. So if you hit the notify me or whatever the notification button, whenever we go live, you get the update. And it could be me sending some joints your way too. So
some classics too, Architect, man. I love those classics, by the way, man.
It's a good time, man. It's a good time. I'm enjoying it, man. I find a lot of dope shit. And I think the thought is that hip hop is dead, and I'm on that like bullshit. So we're gonna keep bringing it.
You got to shout out Diva too, right? What's Diva? It's Diva Views.
At Diva Views.
It's Diva Views.
Oh, it's Diva Views. Instagram. And it's Diva Views. What is she? Diva Citizen?
I think Diva Views Citizen on Facebook.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right on. And blessings to the family. Diva had a loss. A friend of her, a really close family friend, passed away. So she's been dealing with that. And prayers and love and light sent to the family. And that's about it, man. We'll catch you guys next time around, man. We out.
Dialect is your turn, isn't it?
I shouted it out already.
Okay, then. Oh, be good.